Wherever you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Derwin James, a remarkable safety for the Chargers, has made that defense, which was good. Now it's really, 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 really good. Their best defense right now in the last 7 or 8 weeks in the NFL. He's going to be coming on our show. I got to read something, Joy Taylor.
Okay.
I'm behind on spots, as they say.
Okay.
You know it's cold and flu season?
I do know that. It's very chilly out.
Right now, Vicks Sinex nasal spray. It works up to 12 hours, but use only as directed. Well, that was very smooth, I thought. I was a professional broadcaster there. 30 minutes, L.A. Chargers, electric rookie safety Derwin James. In my best for last, the nicest thing I've ever said about Baker Mayfield, I swear to God. Well, the Vikings have fired, though, their offensive coordinator today. But I want to talk about their quarterback. Last night was classic Kirk Cousins. He lost the game in prime time and ends up with garbage yards at the end. And this is why I say you got to watch the games. Last night I said this to my wife. I said, "Man, this is boring." Well, why do you keep watching it? I said, because you got to watch the games. Don't pay attention to stats. There have been years that if you didn't watch Andy Dalton, you looked at his box score, you're like, "Woo, he's a Pro Bowler." Jacksonville gave Blake Bortles. Whoa, Blake. Did you watch Blake Bortles? Last night is the difference between Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. Neither played well. In fact, Russell had a terrible interception. But Russell Wilson always makes the play in the game. And that was an equally huge game for both teams. Kirk Cousins never makes the play. Neither played great. But one made a great play. Russell Wilson scrambles right there, down the sideline. That changed everything. Quarterbacks don't play well every weekend. Peyton Manning didn't. Brady doesn't. Breeze had a stinker against the Cowboys. But do you make the play? The NBA is littered with guys like Zach LaVine, who score 24 a night, and you won't remember 3 baskets when he's done. Blake Griffin, 26 a night, an endless highlight reel. Has he ever hit a big shot? Russell Wilson right now is behind Matt Ryan. He's 11th in fantasy football quarterback points. He's behind Matt Ryan, who's on a 5-game losing streak and never makes the play. He's behind Cam Newton, also on a 5-game losing streak. I say this, judge a person on a bad day. That's who they are. Every parent's in a good mood when little Johnny hits the game-winning Little League home run. But what about when little Johnny goes 0 for 3 and the umpire hosed him? How's Dad act then? Because that's who Dad is. Russell Wilson put up a stinker last night. Had the worst interception of the season. The craziest, goofiest, awful throw of the year. But he made the play. Kirk Cousins is now 4-13 in primetime games. Russell Wilson is 21-5. Russell Wilson wins 60% of his road games. Kirk Cousins wins 36% of them. But if you looked at the box score last night, Kirk Cousins, 20 of 33, over 200 yards, touchdown, no picks, 90 passer rating. If you look at the box score, Russell Wilson, 10 for 20, 72 yards, no TDs, a pick, and a passer rating of 37. Tell my wife, I got to watch these games. And last night's why you got to watch the games. By the way, Minnesota, I don't want to hear about officiating. Okay, you're the only team in the league that through 13 games, you could make 13 a round number. You're 6-1. You define average. You got 2 world-class receivers, excellent defense, and you couldn't score till garbage time. I don't want to hear about officiating. You got a gift call against the Packers and Clay Matthews earlier this year, and true to form, you couldn't even win that game. You tied it. Watch the games. That was a great, classic Russell Wilson game because he stunk, had a terrible pick, but unlike Cousins, made the play. And let me segue to another guy that a lot of people criticize, myself included, but he oftentimes wins close games, Dak Prescott. So I want to remind everybody, as we shift to Dak talk, that Kirk Cousins was the best free agent quarterback on the market this year. He has 2.5 more years in his contract with the Vikings at $28 million a year. If Minnesota could get out of that contract on the flight home, they would have last night. They'd get out of that thing tomorrow if they could, and they can't. So if you have any doubts about Dak Prescott, let me remind you, and I have been critical of him, he does give you 4 things which are really important things in 2018. Stability at the position. You don't want to be Jacksonville. They've got stability at the position. He's mobile in an era where I do want my quarterbacks. I like him to move around a little. Number 3, he has incredible leadership qualities. And number 4, this is weird, but there's not many quarterbacks out there. And as I'm watching Kirk Cousins last night, I'm thinking about Dak. And I'm thinking, Kirk Cousins, he was the gem of the quarterback free agent class. He cannot win a close game. He cannot win a primetime game. Jerry Jones was on Dallas radio this morning, and he knows Dak better than all of us, and he said, Dak, you ever notice how often he wins big games?
The thing you got to remember about Dak, he's so well prepared. I don't know we've had a player that is as focused on the game plan or focused on what he's being told in the classroom. He takes to the practice field. I can't emphasize enough that you hang around and you hang through a mistake on a given play, and you're going to have something good happen. And that's the way I feel about Dak.
I think that was somebody playing Jerry Jones. It sounded almost too much like Jerry Jones. But he's right. Russell Wilson played lousy, but I love him because he makes the play. And Dak Prescott, in my opinion, is an average quarterback talent. But man, he makes plays in big games, offers stability, can move around a little bit, and has incredible leadership qualities. Do not forget, Kirk Cousins was the gem of the free agent class. Okay, just don't forget that. Is that we can bang on Russell Wilson's interception and performance last night, and a guy like me can come out and say, Dak drives me crazy, and I think he has an incredibly low ceiling. It's about 2 inches from the floor. But sports isn't about Blake Griffin averaging 26 a night. It's not about Zach LaVine averaging 24 a night. I don't know what Ray Allen averaged, but I can remember a dozen big shots in his career. I don't know what Dwayne Wade's career average is. I can think of 50 huge plays in his career. I want guys who make plays, even if they're incredibly flawed. Andy Dalton and Kirk Cousins don't. As long as the number's right with Dak, he does. Coming up next, thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, next coach, the Pittsburgh situation, Derwin James, and thoughts on Baker Mayfield as well. 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35 years old, and 4hims.com